measure their own shit and what they eat.
And he doesn't even get the glory of being the guy.
No glory. But they love helping the space program. And there are people that have been locked in rooms, 5-person teams, in a smaller room than this for 500 days.
Can I
imagine this? All these windows just stop, and we are in here for 500 days. How soon before we kill each other?
Let me jump in here for a second. So you're saying when they stepped on the moon for the first time, their spacesuits were filled with shit?
Yes.
Didn't they have any kind of way to fucking to clean that out?
They don't.
They
have,
sort of have things they could do now, but
they have never
going back to 1969.
They have never found a zero-G toilet that works.
That glorious moment they were filled with shit.
It turns out that when you are evacuating your bowels, a big part of what gets it to vac from your bowels is gravity. And without gravity, it just kind of hangs there, and they have to scoop it out of each other's asses. And then they have to put it in a bag, and they have to put pills in the bag, and then squeeze it up. Squeeze it so that the pills go in there. Otherwise, it will ferment and blow up the bag and pop and fill the air that's all around you with shit. This book is the most nightmare book, and I don't think I was reading this stuff going, I don't think I could sit in the capsule for 15 minutes. And then none of this is mentioned. Then there's a rocket on your ass, and they're blowing you into space, where your chances of dying are as high as anything you've ever done.
Right.
And they talk about how the astronauts on the Apollo program would not eat or eat just cheese so that they wouldn't shit for 8 days in space.
Why don't they do something like, you ever get a colonic?
If you've got a solution to this, it would be really cool.
My guess would be, why can't they do something like a colonic with water? Like if you've gotten them, it does filter you back through the tube where you're using pressure. So why not do that every other or third day? Yeah, but it does work. It's like without any effort, you're lying on your back. The water's being pumped in. It cleans you out, and it pulls the fecal matter out with you. With the water.
I would like nothing more in my life than for that sentence to win you a Nobel Prize.
I would love it too.
I would love to see you in Stockholm in the tuxedo going.
James Norton. They all clap. Here he is.
Right.
I was just talking on the radio.
Yes. You know, it wasn't long ago I was talking on the radio about,
and of course, let's go to our Nobel laureate, Jim Norton, for the news.
But why wouldn't that was not a bad idea, right? You put a little fucking hose, you put a little hole in the back of the suit.
Call NASA. Let's call them right now.
You your back.
We got the solution.
NASA on the blower.
Hole in the back of your suit.
But if you
I can't get past the fact that they had shit in their spacesuits when they're stepping on the moon.
That's why they walk so awkwardly.
Right. Jumping around with shit.
They're jumping around because their asses itch so fucking bad.
And if you vomit in your suit, which you always do,
they always do get sick,
it stops your visibility. And then you can't get your hands to your face to wipe it out of your nose, and it's floating. I've been in zero-G. I went on the vomit
comet.
I went zero-G. And I got this idea. I went with Billy Gibbons, which seems odd.
From the ZZ Top?
ZZ Top, yeah. So it was me, ZZ Top, and test pilots. And it was an illegal flight that we took. We went illegally with a guy who had an Air Mexico 747 and said he'd do the parabola.
A 747?
And what you do to do zero-G is you do parabolas, just like that.
That's up and down, like almost like a heart monitor, it looks like.
Yeah. We did it over the ocean. And, the pilot's just trying to go straight down. So I had decided, I was on with 2 astronauts and some test pilots. And I had decided, the movie Barbarella?
Sure.
Yes.
I had decided that what Billy Gibbons wanted to do was he wanted to bring an amp and a guitar.
I saw this video, by the way. It's hilarious.
And at zero-G, he wanted to play the guitar.
You should look this up.
That was his dream.
Everyone had something they wanted to do.
My dream.
Yeah.
My dream was to do the striptease from Barbarella. The beginning of Barbarella, Jane Fonda goes, Barbarella, psychedelic, kind of like a conch shell of love. And she's stripping, but she's on glass. She's on like a Danny Thomas glass cocktail.
Danny Thomas.
And
I'll never live that down.
She's moving around like that, and she's not really weightless. So I said to the astronauts, I want to do a striptease, and I want to sing Barbarella. And Billy Gibbons said, well, okay, I'll play a little guitar. And my hair was much longer then, because I've cut it off for Locks of Love. But it was much longer then, as long as Jane Fonda's in Barbarella. Now, the similarities between me and Jane Fonda and Barbarella may end at hair length.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it right here. You got it right here. They got me floating around here. Take a ride on the NASA.
What year is that? How long ago?
I don't know. Must be the 90s sometime. There's me and Billy. And so I'm doing that. And when I start stripping, right, the astronauts don't really understand that when I say I'm going to strip down fully naked. So what you do is you've got 35 seconds of 0G, then you got 35 seconds of 2G.
2G, yeah.
And 0G is exhilarating. You weigh nothing. This 300-pound fat fuck weighs 0. It's terrific. But at 2Gs, I weigh 600 pounds.
You can't get something for nothing.
And it's just depressing and horrible and miserable.
How sick did you get?
Down on the ground.
Well, that's where the story's going.
They make you get on the floor?
You get down on the floor and you lay down.
Get on the floor, get on the floor.
And then you can't even lift your arms, right?
Really?
So I'm doing Barbarella, and this astronaut, he's a fucking astronaut, which I figure if you're an astronaut and you've been breathing other people's piss, shit, and vomit, you're not going to be very squeamish about things.
Right.
But somehow, he's holding the video camera, somehow he's a little surprised when I actually do take my underwear off, throw it in the air, and little Houdini is flapping in the breeze. Weightless little Houdini. And I'm singing, Barbarella. So I'm trying to do the Barber. And in my head, because I am a psychopath, in my head, I really do look exactly like Jane Fonda.
Of course.
But the way the astronauts are reacting, I don't think I do. Your reaction if Jane Fonda in 1968 were floating in front of you weightless turns out is very different from your reaction if Penn Jillette.
You look more like the tank she sat on.
So did you have to now be totally naked in 2Gs laying on the floor?
Well, that's where it goes. So I took off my belt and I swung my belt around because that's part of being a sexy stripper.
Of course.
And my dad had just died a year before and had given me a belt that he had with a silver dollar in it. And when I swung the belt around, it hit the fuselage and the silver dollar came out. And somehow I didn't understand in my panic, in my 0G, that the fuselage was closed, and we just find the
You're
coin
not going
later.
to lose it, right?
I'm not going to lose the coin that my father gave me. I love my dad.
If the coin gets outside, you got more problems.
So I go running naked.
Yeah, no kidding.
I go running naked now for the coin, and all the astronauts are going, "We're going to 2G. Get down, get down." And I go, "No, I want to get this coin." They go, "Get down. Find it later. Get down." I go, no, I want to get, I can see it. Bam! And I hit the fuselage at 2G naked, flat on my face, and I now weigh 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And the coin, which weighs a pound, is in my hand, and I've got it. But I haven't been sitting in the right position. So now they go 35 seconds of that. Oh no, with the astronauts crawling to me to make sure I'm okay. And then, okay, we're going 0G. So now I float in the air. Now I'm disoriented. Now I'm holding the coin. And now I am vomiting while I'm naked and the astronaut is holding me. And he goes, "Hey, you're not singing Barbarella now, are you?"
What a horrible scene.
Does everyone vomit on that thing? I mean, hence the name?
No, I was not going to vomit until I was stupid and went after that coin from my dad.
So when you get that, were you in the wrong position to take the 2Gs?
Yeah.
And how does a pilot fly that thing?
Oh my God!
You go.
No, I understand that, but how does he keep?
He's strapped in
and control if it goes to 2Gs when he can't really move himself.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing. There's astronauts who have come in and pulling
those guys
8
pulling
Gs,
8, yeah,
and at 8 fingers up. Your fingers are too heavy. Just kill yourself. If you ever get, if somehow they say you guys are accepting the space program, kill yourself.
Just kill yourself. You're not going to enjoy it.
You're not going to enjoy it.
How long was the trip for? That's pretty interesting, man.
I did, well, that's the thing. The first 8 parabolas are the greatest thing in the world. We did 30.
Oh, wow. Shit.
So actually, we were completely weightless for 15 minutes.
Damn.
But we were also 2Gs for 15 minutes.
They did that in Apollo 13, the movie. They built a little set inside one of the set of the lunar module and the command module inside the fuselage of one of these planes, and did that so many times to get all these shots, so it didn't look like the old-fashioned on a string or shit like that. It looked weightless because they were weightless.
And the interesting thing was Tom Hanks did not strip naked and sing Barbarella.
No, he didn't.
But what would you, if you were going to be weightless? What's the first thing you would think?
Yeah, Ron Howard did though when he was filming it.
You would think, I want to fuck in Zero G. Right?
You would think.
And I did think that. And there was an attractive woman, like a test pilot on there, with aftermarket breasts and very, very attractive. And I said to her, we're going to be in Zero G. I'm going to be stripping naked doing Barbarella. Billy's going to be playing guitar. But do you want to fuck?
Sounds romantic.
Would that be fun?
You got to ask at least.
And she says to me, I certainly like to go out with you after today. I said, we're not talking about after today. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't want to have dinner with you next week. I don't want to call you. This is a science experiment. This is two hamsters in a cage that's floating in the river. This is to see what it'll feel like to fuck somebody. And your position would be somebody. She goes, well, I don't know if I'm comfortable. I go, why don't you be comfortable? Yeah. We're going to be in Zero G. You're not going to be comfortable. Do you want my penis in you? It doesn't matter. Do you want anybody here? As a matter of fact, pick somebody. Anybody here will fuck you. I'll watch. I'll be happy.
Good, you smooth talk to though.
Right, there's no time for smooth talk. No. You're gonna be weightless.
You only have
35
seconds.
35 seconds
how long
to get it done?
Yeah, 35 seconds.
Would your dick get hard like that though? Could you get your cock hard in zero gravity? Would that be weird?
Yes.
I'd like to see what it feels like during the 2Gs and how deep you could get in.
Oh God, your cock would be so heavy.
Your cock weighs 4 pounds.
Just a heavy cock.
Although I would think the whole...
But you haven't got time to go, in 30 seconds you're going to be weightless. Oh, you get a little something in your eye.
Yeah.
Want to undo your hair a little bit. Oh, my, without your glasses, you're beautiful.
No time for Let's fuck.
Yeah, let's fuck. Quick.
I would think with every action has an equal and opposite reaction. It would be kind of a little rough to
some people believe...
Gs.
See, I have fucked 40 feet below water in scuba equipment. I have done that. And it's very hard to keep your neutral buoyancy. It's very hard to be safe. And I also almost froze her to death because, I have much more body mass and she was a skinny model. So there were some parts of her body that looked kind of blue. But I've done that. So, I knew you could do the pushing and stuff. And I also knew Billy Gibbons would help. He's a rock and roller.
How could you get a rod under those circumstances? I could never.